All right, we should be live. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're good to go. Maybe I'll turn my little music off. I forgot about that. I was getting so into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the January info session for Dev Degree for the 2023 cohort. This is going to be our last info session of the year, which is totally crazy. Super good to see everybody. I am Tristan. I'm going to be here for most of the night, the entire night. You'll see me popping in and out. I'm the recruiter for the Dev Degree program. I am joined by many of the interns in Dev Degree and people from the Dev Degree team as well. And maybe why don't we kick off with some introductions, and then we'll do a little bit of icebreakers before we get started. I'm gonna pass it right over to Allison.
Thanks, Tristan. Right over here. So, hello, I'm Allison. I'm the program lead for Dev Degree. I'm very excited to be with you here this evening where I am, anyways. And one of the reasons I'm here tonight is to tell you about the news we have about our alignment with the Bachelor of Applied Science and Digital Technology programs at York. But we'll get to that. And I'm going to popcorn it right to Mike, who's going to be doing a lot of the information sharing tonight.
Oh, popcorn indeed. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike. I'm a technical educator at Dev Degree. Putting the hello in hello world. Like to see that in the chat. It's evening where I am as well. You can tell by the darkness out there. I'm curious where other folks are from. Out in the chat there, feel free to rep your city in the chat, and I'll be putting the info in info session for sure. I'm going to pass it over to Maya.
Hi, my name is Maya, and I'm a Dev Degree intern. I am in my third year of school, and actually just started my third placement, so it's lining up right now. If you can't tell, I go to Carleton. I'm actually on campus right now, so I am in Ottawa, and yeah, I guess that's it. I'm from Mississauga, so yeah. I'll pass it over to Leah.
Hello, I'm Leah. I am in a similar situation as Maya. I'm also a third-year university student, starting my third placement at Shopify. The only difference is I'm going to York University instead of Carleton University. I'm also a mature student, returning to school after several years out of school in the workforce. So if there's any questions directly related to that, feel free to pop them in the chat, and we can get to them at the end of the session as well. All right, and I will pass it on to Sophia.
Hi, similar to Maya, I'm actually in Ottawa, but from Mississauga as well, which is like, wow, small world. But I'm from the 2021 cohort and studying at Carleton. So second year, second placement, sort of lining up, not quite as perfectly as the third years, but and finally, I'll pass it to Madhav, last but not least.
Yeah, hello, I'm Madhav, and I go to Carleton too. And likely, I'm a mature student, switched out after spending 3 years in a biochem background. This is my first couple months at Dev Degree. I'm still on the training path, so yeah. Any questions regarding that, or likely a mature students, hit me up.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We've got so many cool locations coming in the chat right now. There's people in Nigeria, people across the US, across Canada, and that's just the people who have been responding, or at least that I have been able to pay attention to. Vietnam, New Zealand. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Okay, awesome. So the way that we're going to run our info session tonight is we're going to start off with Mike, and he is going to go through the info session material. So he'll have a slide presentation to talk about the Dev Degree program, what it is, what the student experience is like, as well as a little bit on the applications, and I can touch on that as well. But what we're going to try and do is spend as much of our time as possible answering your questions. So about halfway through, we will bring the entire panel back onto the screen, and Mike and Allison are going to facilitate Q&A, answering the questions that you've submitted. We're going to do our best to answer as many questions as possible, but we have a lot of questions to work through, so we may not get to your question. I'm going to prioritize the questions that were submitted via the Q&A form. So if you had submitted those to the Google form that went out earlier in the week, then you'll see your question come up from there. And then we'll also do our best to answer questions as they come through the chat. But we can't get to everything. So I'll post this in the information afterwards, but you can always send us an email at info@devdegree.ca, where myself or Allison will be happy to answer any of your questions. Okay. Does anybody want to add anything before we get started? All right, well, let's do it. So I'll hand it over to you, Mike. I'll take everybody off screen and you will have the floor for the next little bit. See you, everybody.
See you in a bit, everyone. I loved seeing where everyone was from. It looked like a Twitch stream there for a second in the chat. And wherever you're watching from, we're super excited you're here. Application season is a very busy and fun time of the year. And the reason we have these information sessions is to help communicate what program's all about and answer some of the questions in a more scalable way. So without further ado, let's get down to the info part of the info session. Welcome to the Dev Degree program. We're really excited you're here. Before we get started, Tristan, can you confirm this will be recorded? Yes, I believe it is.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Recorded. It will be posted on the YouTube channel soon after we finish.
Awesome. There you go. And please take notes as we go along if you have questions. We love questions here. So this is the agenda for this evening. What is Dev Degree? Life as a student, the Dev Degree team, that includes me, Allison, and Tristan, admissions, and then we'll get to the Q&A section of the evening. So let's start at the beginning. What is Dev Degree? Dev Degree is a work-integrated computer science program that integrates the academic work for an accredited computer science degree with hands-on development experience that prepares you for full-time employment. This is what it looks like. Part-time at Shopify, that's the sort of the pink and the yellow at the bottom there, and part-time in university, that's the melon color. These are our branded Dev Degree colors too. So in your first year, you're going to spend your time at university is typically learning the fundamentals of computer science in introductory courses. At Shopify, in your first year, you'll be doing what we call the training path, where you'll learn development skills, technologies, and programming languages to prepare yourself for your first work placement. In your second, third, and fourth year at university, you'll get more advanced coursework as well as whatever electives you're interested in. And at Shopify, you'll be on your work placements. So for each work placement, you'll be placed in a development team where you'll contribute to the projects your team is working on. So you're working on production, you're working with the product. The purpose here is for you to learn how the work is actually done and how software development works to prepare you for wherever your future takes you. You'll have about 3 or 4 placements, changing usually around every 8 to 12 months. This gives you an opportunity to explore different technical disciplines and learn from different members across Shopify. Your placement will be curated based on what you want to learn and how you want to grow. 3 to 4 years of continuous hands-on experience at Shopify in parallel to attending classes really gives you the opportunity to put in your skills to use in real-world problems while you learn. So to put that all together, by the end of the Dev Degree program, you will have earned 3,000 hours of academic experience, more than 3,000 hours, towards your computer science degree. Over 3,800 hours of work experience at Shopify, learning the practical skills and tools that you're not going to learn in school. And you don't have to worry about paying tuition while you study. As a Dev Degree intern, Shopify will pay you and your tuition a part-time salary. Part-time intern salary, and paid vacation, so you can focus 100% on your education. Together, that's, I'm doing some hot math here, that's about $160,000 in value. Just like with any other program, there are no obligation to work full-time at Shopify once you graduate, but we support our interns and their decisions to stay on with Shopify or whether they want to move on. Okay. So we've learned a little bit about what Dev Degree is from a very high level. Now we're going to talk about something very important. What is life like as a Dev Degree student? Let's take some time to learn about our university partners. And I might bring Allison back up here too. After all, you're going to be spending half your time in the program. So we currently have 3 universities that we partner with for the Dev Degree program. Carleton, which is located where I am in Ottawa, Ontario. York University, which is located in Toronto. And Dominican University, of California, which is located in San Rafael. Allison, did you want to speak about the York integrated program?
Yeah, I'd really like to. We're all super excited about this program. So this is a brand new program at Lassonde. It's a brand new program in Canada. It's the first of its kind. With this program, you're going to be spending 80% of your time at work and 20% of your time in the classroom. And what that looks like is 6 to 7 weeks full time with a week off to go to school on campus. This program, we have a new standard that has been developed. I work together with a group of participants from other companies. Lassonde called us the Trailblazers, and we're very excited to have this program. But this is a substantially different experience than the experience that's offered at Dominican or Carleton, or what we used to offer with the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science at York. This is very much being at work, tracking learning outcomes at work with the support of the university, and minimal classroom hours, although you still have to be in person for those classroom hours. So I think that covers it. A lot of the material you'll hear tonight is going to be about the Dominican University of California and the Carleton University, which have our more traditional 50% of time in school, 50% of time in class, and a lot of going back and forth between classroom and work. And this program is so different at York starting in September because of the 80% work and 20% classroom. And I think the other thing to note is that the Dominican University can be in person in California, but it can also be remote, which is the one university that of our 3 partner universities that offers a fully remote program.
Amazing. Thank you, Allison.
Back to you, Mike.
Yeah, in case we didn't mention it, Shopify is remote, right? So it is a remote company, so you can really work from anywhere in the world when you work for Shopify. So as we've been saying, Dev Degree student, you'll be splitting your time between school and work. So at Carleton and Dominican, you'll take 3 courses per semester, but at York, it will look a little different, about 6 or 7 weeks of work followed by 1 week block of school. But either way, you'll spend about 20 hours a week at Shopify, you can expect. So Dev Degree is an accelerated program. So students continue to take their program throughout the summer. We like to use the expression, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So this can make for a pretty busy lifestyle. So strong time management skills are definitely a key to succeeding in the Dev Degree program. In your first year, you'll be balancing your intro courses and the Dev Degree training path, and afterwards you'll be balancing your university classes while on your work placement and working. So in order to make this work, it's important that students own their own schedule. So this is an example of a week in the what a week in the life of a Dev Degree student might look like. But it can vary, and ultimately the final result is up to you. The Dev Degree provides flexible scheduling, so you can build a schedule that's right for you. You'll be able to choose when you take your university courses and work with your Shopify team to determine your working hours, which is important. So for this particular student, they start their week on Monday at Shopify, and then attend university courses in the afternoon. Then on Tuesday, lucky them, they get the whole day at Shopify. Wednesday is a full day of school. Then Thursday is another split day with university courses in the morning and work at Shopify in the afternoon. And then, in this particular case, they have a full day of work at Shopify. What a great way to end the week. There are other work integrated learning models, each with their own strengths and benefits and weaknesses, to be honest. For example, co-op programs or sourcing your own internships. So what makes Dev Degree, Dev Degree? 3 things to highlight that we call here the pillars of the program. Learn by doing. This is our North Star for the program. Dev Degree encourages you to do stuff to find out what works and what doesn't. We believe that failure is the best teacher. We provide the space for you to learn, try, fail, and see how things work. We aren't scared of you breaking things. In fact, we kind of like it when you break things because we believe it builds a great way for you to test new skills and build confidence. Growth through support. You don't have to do this alone. Life can come at you fast, and having a strong support system is crucial to success. We have a dedicated team of instructors, mentors, and specialists to support you through the program. Our goal is to give you that peace of mind that you are learning innovative development and communication skills from the very best in the industry. That being said, the last one, owning your own development. This is huge at Shopify. Throughout the program, you'll be provided with tools to succeed. Our amazing team, you'll be given a MacBook to complete your work, a flexible schedule, and tons of incredible resources. But it will ultimately be up to you to take advantage of these tools and your own development. We are here for your support, but you will be in the driver's seat. So now that you have an idea of what life is like as a student and what we value in Dev Degree, let's meet the folks who will be supporting you throughout the program. The key message here is Dev Degree offers incredible support. So let's talk about the training path team. That's the team I'm on. Amazing technical instructors. I know that guy. I work with them. They will teach you the foundational skills you need to be successful in your first work placement. You'll start the Dev Degree program learning developer skills, concepts, and software technologies from us. For example, everything from basic logic, computational thinking, and core CS fundamentals to professional developer skills such as version control, using Git and GitHub, writing pull requests, and code reviews. Courses are designed to be more like work than school, to start getting you used to the work environments. And then once you finish the training path, you'll be ready to start with the placements team. So one of the key differences between Dev Degree and a traditional internship or co-op is the availability of the placement team. They support students in finding new teams and projects. Work experience is a major part of the Dev Degree program, and we want you to make you the most out of your placements. The placements team works very closely with Shopify dev teams and Dev Degree students to ensure compatibility and fit. We want you to explore your interests and find passions so that your experience on placements at Shopify will set you up for success in your career. One of the great parts about Dev Degree, the placements team will handle all the logistics so you can find and move teams, so you can focus solely on just becoming the best developer you can be. And finally, the amazing student success team will be your cheerleaders, coaches, confidants, counselors throughout your entire journey at Dev Degree. The student success team will help you build strategies to take all that on that Dev Degree asks of you. They'll also help you develop practices for positive work-life balance, which is huge at Shopify, and design work lifestyle to reach your full potential. Okay, so you're sitting here listening to me and thinking, wow, this is amazing. I want to be a part of this. I have great news for you. Admissions for the fall 2023 Dev Degree cohort are now open. So how do you apply, you're wondering? If you want to learn in depth about our application process, interviews, and offers, head to devdegree.ca and click on the admissions to learn more. And you can click on that nice yellow Apply Now button. The application has 3 parts: the job posting, computational questions, and finally the personal statements. If you have any other questions, let's go to the Q&A. I'm going to leave this up. Make sure you head to devdegree.ca for more information. And if you have questions that weren't answered tonight or in the future, you can send them to info@devdegree.ca. Let's get to their questions. Come on back, everybody. So like Tristan said, we're going to prioritize questions that were submitted first, and then we'll get to where we're at now. Are we ready for some questions? Everybody back?
I think so.
Awesome. First question. This is directed, interns, I'd love for you to take a stab at this. What does the typical week or day look like for a Dev Degree member? What does the typical week or day look like for a Dev Degree member?
I could go with this
Amazing.
one.
Thank you,
I feel
Mark.
like everyone's is going to be different probably, but yeah, I think it is really similar to the little like graphic you showed that showed like the week blocks. So with Shopify, you work 20 hours. Once you're on a team placement, you work 20 hours on your team and then 5 hours of professional development. So you saw in those blocks that it was about 25 hours for that. And then the rest was through school. So for all of my placements so far, I've blocked it as that I work 2 full days at Shopify and 1 half day. And then the rest of the time I just do school. But like Mike said, you could just do it however you want. So some people work like every single day, part of the day. And some people prefer to do like what I do, where you'd rather do like full days and then take a full day off. So that's the Shopify side of things. I guess like how my actual days go, I definitely feel like I do some school and some work every single day. So you never are really just doing one. But yeah, I guess like today, for example, I had a full school day. So you couldn't really tell I worked at Shopify today. I just like had a normal computer science student day. So yeah, that's how it goes, I guess. And you also have time, since you're remote, to do like other things. I usually like go for a run at lunch or like go to the gym in between things. So that's one of the perks of being remote for sure.
Amazing. Thank you, Maya. Now let's get just that's sort of one person's experience. Maybe someone else would like to share their experience, and we'll see how similar yet different they are, and what else you can maybe expect. Don't make me call on you.
Well, I can go next. And just as
Awesome.
Maya said, it can vary a lot compared to last term when I was going to university or taking classes every day. My schedule lined up that my Thursdays today, I have no classes. So it's just a work period in the morning. I get a 2-hour break in the middle and then another work period. So it can vary a lot depending on each term and where you are in university and your placement.
Awesome, thank you. So 2 sort of different perspectives, but you can see how they align in that it's really quite flexible and open, and there's lots of opportunities for growth. I got another question, Leah. I'm going to ask this one to you. Is the program fully remote? I don't need to drive to any places, right? Both the university part and the job.
Okay, so this was touched a little bit in the presentation. The Shopify side, 100% remote. You don't need to go anywhere. You get your laptop, you just sit at your desk wherever you're comfortable. You can go to a coffee shop, whatever, 100% remote. The school component, though, is only remote if you choose to apply to the Dominican University. If you apply to one of the other 2 university partners, it is on campus. It was remote for a bit because of COVID. So if you'd heard anything about the school part being remote in the past, it was probably because of the COVID restrictions. But York University has been in person for a year. I think we started last January. I'm not 100% sure in Carleton, but I would assume it would have been the same. So if you are interested in the remote option, you have to apply to the Dominican school.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to add to that, and it sort of tied into like a little bit of my like day-to-day, I guess. This semester I got I don't know what happened. It was like divine intervention or something. But right now, somehow all my courses are like technically online. So I go in for tutorials and tests and important things like that. But I do lectures at home. So I think another big thing that everyone is probably familiar with post-COVID is like, or as we're transitioning out of, because it's not really like completely over, especially university students know what's up. But I think you kind of recognize that like the nature and the delivery of all these courses are changing as you go forward too. So I've noticed that like professors are more compassionate because they understand that, you know, things happen or everyone's situations at university are different. So in terms of like delivery of the courses, I wouldn't worry too much because I know a lot of people also moved to Ottawa a little later when my year was starting because they knew that like there's a little bit of like grace period time before things get serious.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in again. That's a very good point because I've noticed a difference too. A lot of professors record their lectures now and they'll post it. So it's still in person, but it's not a guarantee and it's not a promise because they don't have to do it. But a lot of professors are taking that option now. But your exams will be in person. So even if you manage to do the semester online, your exams have to be in person. Like it's the department rules. You have to come in and show your ID to prove that it's you taking the test. So bare minimum, you will have to come to campus for at least the exams.
Amazing. That's great context. Thank you so much, both of you. Matt Have, I'm going to put you on the spot. As you are, this is sort of, you're coming from a career switching background, and this is your first year in the program. How is the world to school life balance at Dev Degree?
It's great, to be honest. Like even compared to like the work and school, everything's when you first start university and a new job, it can be a lot because you're trying to tackle new things. You're at Shopify, we're learning all these new tools. We're learning a lot of new tools at school. That can be a lot, but the amount of support you get, and even just having a couple of students you already know start at the same time and like associate, like it's just instead of figuring out who you're friends with and all of that, that just like builds in with the program, and it's been great so far. All the support that instructors give us, especially one example is for one of the assignments at Shopify, I was working late at like midnight, and the next day the instructor messaged me, is like, "Don't work midnight. You can do it at your regular time. You don't have to spend that much time on work." So that was really nice.
Awesome. I don't. Was that me? I can't remember if
That was you, actually.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Busted. Thank you so much for sharing, madam. Tristan or Allison, I'd like to bring you up here. I have a question that, and I think I saw this in the chat too. Along with the salary, does the part-time work at Shopify come with the benefits of, like, say, health insurance?
I can jump in there, Mike. So with the program, the health insurance you get is covered by your university partner. And in fact, I think it's even, I should have left this for you, Tristan, is what I'm realizing, but it is complicated. It is generally covered by the university partner, and that is covered by your tuition fees, so which we pay, and we pay the health insurance for the university partner as part of your tuition fees. It is different between Dominican and York and Carleton. So please make sure to look into that carefully and ask questions of us during the process for sure. Is there anything you'd add there, Tristan?
I think the only thing that I'd add is that it is relatively similar between Carleton and York. And I say relatively, it's significantly different with Dominican because it's in the United States. So it's definitely something to be mindful of when, if you're going through the interview process, if you want to send us an email to talk about the differences there. But no, I think you did a great job. That's what I would have said.
Awesome. Okay, this next question is directed at the interns. I'd like to hear from at least one, but maybe all four of you. What are some of the challenges you faced during the program, and how did you overcome them? Pretty open-ended question there, but I'd love to hear some of your personal experiences if you'd love to share.
I can go. I think we're all thinking the same thing. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is brutal. It is brutal. It doesn't matter how many times people tell you. And for those of you who are not familiar, imposter syndrome is basically feeling like you are not good enough to be where you are. Like, I'm not smart enough to be in this program. Everybody knows so much more than me. What am I doing here? I'm an imposter. And they warn you during the training path that you'll feel it when you go on your first placement. And I wasn't ready to handle it when I went on my first placement. It was kind of overwhelming. There was so much stuff to do. I'm like, everyone's so much smarter than me. Again, I'm a little bit older. Maybe I'm too old to learn these new stuff. I haven't been coding since I was 12, since like a lot of the other kids have. That's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. And how I got over it is honestly just mainly through the help of the Dev Degree team. Like, you get so much support in this program. It's insane. We have like coaching sessions. We talk to each other. You have like one-on-one meetings with other interns. You talk together at the school, and you all just kind of like share your stories, and you realize everyone's feeling the same way. And it's not just you. So like really leaning onto the support that's provided. Talk to your student success specialist if you're having trouble. Book on one-on-one with somebody. Everyone's always like weekly touch points to make sure you're doing okay, and just be honest and open with how you're feeling. And you all get through it together, and you'll realize you are smart enough to be in this program. It's okay. We're all doing this together. And I love to say this, but if you knew all the answers, you wouldn't be in the program. So you're expected to not know everything at the start. And the idea is that you'll learn it as you go through. So be prepared for that, but it's okay. You'll get through it.
Amazing. Thank you, Leah. Thank you for sharing. And I think it's safe to say everyone on this call has maybe experienced some imposter syndrome at some point at their time at Shopify. Does anyone else have anyone they want to share?
I could go. I completely agree with Leah. That's like probably what I was gonna say. But another one I think of is like, we talked about work-life balance recently, I think, or in this call. I think like something that's kind of similar is like just the separation of work and school, and I guess life as well, but mainly work and school. Because in traditional co-op, like, you're separated completely. So like in traditional co-op, you'll probably just be working and that's it. You're probably not taking any classes, or you're doing the opposite. And it is like really different other than the scheduling, like the actual separation of it while you're doing it when you're doing both. It's really easy to like have something really stressful going on in school and then you're just going to do your work hours. That's kind of weird and like hard to deal with. So I would say that's a challenge. And I think overcoming it has just been like over time. Like I feel like I've gone really good at it by like my third placement now, to be able to like separate it and I guess like switch what you're thinking about easier. So yeah, I guess I don't really have a good solution to that challenge, but it's just one that's relevant when you're in a different structured program. And like Leah said as well, you have like so much support. You have your other interns as well. It's really unique to have like this group of people that are going to your school that are doing the exact same thing as you. So like not only are you guys in the same classes, you can like relate to being like, yeah, I'm doing work tomorrow or like school today and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's move on, but some great answers there and great context. Allison, I'd like to put you on the spot again. How many weeks of paid time off dev students get each year? Are there vacation days? Would it be the same as the partner university students?
It's not the same. So dev degree students get 10 days of paid time off, 10 days of vacation day during the year. And these are days they can take whenever they need them. They also get a fall reading week, which is aligned with their partner university as best we can. Dominican has an unusual schedule. Not unusual, just their own schedule, which is not the same as Ontario universities. They also get the winter reading week, that February reading week, which all seems to line up super well for all the universities. Dev degree students get that. Shopify as a whole generally has a shutdown during the December holidays. So between Christmas and New Year, dev degree students get that too. And they also get those 10 vacation days I mentioned, which I am always, and all of these interns will tell you, I'm always telling them to go use, because this is a heavy course. Like, you're not taking summers off, you're working. So to find those times in between semester when you can actually get a break from school and to take time off is really super important.
Yeah, and I think you maybe didn't even mention that they get like the regular stats off too, like
yeah.
Sometimes they're called bank holidays in the States. They call them stats here, but like you're not coming into work those days either. You don't have to do school for Shopify on those days.
No, of course.
Now that this is a good question. I like this one, and I'm going to pose this sort of everyone. Is there anything you wish you knew before you joined Dev Degree? Very introspective.
I think for me, like getting more comfortable with the idea of like knowing the least in a room, or just just coming in and saying, okay, I don't know all the answers, but that's the point. Like, this is your learning journey, and there's no like wrong way to learn. I know a conversation that often happens, especially in Training Path, is how you can kind of like optimize your learning and stuff. And while that's all good and valid, I even found this when picking my new placement this time, like anywhere I go is going to benefit me in some way. And you can sort of try to optimize, but at the same time, if it's causing more stress, like any movement is movement, right? And staying put is still a decision in some aspect as well. So I think being just more self-compassionate, which I think university students will learn anyways. Like, the first jump to university is a hurdle for everyone, regardless of being in dev degree or not. So,
amazing. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, I can go next. And this point was kind of discussed during this call too, but I was slightly terrified when I got it, because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to learn so many new things. And even just looking at the first 2-3 months, we were doing like 3 different programming languages at the same time. It can be a lot, but the big thing is they expect that sometimes you will fail, and that's absolutely fine. And they'll teach that to you. They're like, failure is not bad, because you learn a lot more when your code fails than when it's working perfectly. Like, if you just type your code and it works, you're not learning all of those edge cases, right? They really drill that into you. So that was, I wish I knew that, like, not to worry about failing.
Oh, I love how you summarize that. That's amazing. And if I could paraphrase a wise man who works at Shopify, failure is just the discovery of something that hasn't worked, right? So there we go. Um, Tristan, I haven't heard from you in a little bit. I'm going to ask you this one. After the program finished, so in 4 years, do you guarantee that Shopify will hire them full time?
Mm, good question. I cannot make that guarantee, although I would be the person that you would be working with. So at the end of the 4 years in the dev degree program, so there's no obligations or restrictions either way. Shopify does not have a guaranteed role for you at the end of the program. And likewise, you are not mandated in any way to stay at Shopify just because you finished the dev degree program. So what happens is in about your last year of the dev degree program, you would start to work with the student success team as well as myself to talk about what teams you might be interested in joining at Shopify, having conversations with the leads on those teams. Are they doing work that you're interested in? Do you have the skills that they're interested in bringing onto their teams? And then looking at converting you from a dev degree internship into a full-time role. So it's not a guarantee. The purpose of the program is to make sure that everyone is a strong developer who can then go on to work full-time, whether it's at Shopify or at another company. So we start to go through that process towards the end of the program.
Amazing. Thank you, Tristan, so much. I think that's pretty clear, and and it makes good sense. So, okay, I saw this question. I'm going to throw this out there. We love feedback at Shopify. We love just saying the thing if we can. So, if we're being honest, can we think of any possible cons or disadvantages of the Shopify Dev Degree program?
Yeah, I can think of some for sure, and I'm just going to jump in and get started. You have to know you want to be a software developer. Like, this is not a program to sign up for if you want to explore, and if you're not 100% sure, and if you're like, well, maybe I want computer science, but maybe I really need to explore something else. This is a program for when you want to be a software developer. And I've already touched on another con, which is this is an intense program. I mean, we will go on at you about work-life balance, about making sure you use those vacation days. That's super important. But there are no summers off. It is very hard to find time in the year where you can actually get a really good break. That Shopify shutdown in between the fall and winter semester is awesome. And like the interns need to take vacation then. But otherwise, even if school's on a break, work keeps going. If you're in one of the 50/50 programs, you're trying to do all this context switching and switch back and forth. So you might be missing out in school. You might be missing at work. We work really hard to make sure you're not missing out at school. But that context switching can actually be kind of challenging. And I'd like to pass that one over to the interns now and say, what are the cons? What do you find challenging about this program?
I have one that I think can be both a pro and con. But I think it's like related to how Shopify is a tech company. So like you're not just in a traditional university program, and it's different in a normal university program. A lot of them don't change a lot over like lots of years. I think that's changing now, but if you look at like a university like Carleton or something, there isn't like in the computer science program, for example, there's not a ton of things changing over like 20 years. But at dev degree, and at Shopify, things are constantly changing, both in like the company and dev degree. So I think it's a pro because that means that they take improvement, and like it's gonna change based on what went wrong or wasn't that great about 1 year. But if you're someone who doesn't like to thrive on change or like be adaptable, that could be difficult, I think, because you may have like signed on for something that's a very specific way, but you need to know that like it may change. So yeah, I think that's a pro and con, but I guess it's like it is like, I guess, energy to adapt to things that are changing about the program, or just Shopify itself, which is like where you're spending half your time. They're always introducing new things and like spinning things around. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
you
Great
mind if I-
answer.
do you mind
Yeah,
if I butt in,
please.
Mike? I just want to kind of like plus one and add a little bit to Maya's answer because I think that's a really great point. And I also want to say that like there's nothing wrong with that if you are the type of person who doesn't like thrive on change and doesn't want that to be a part of the program. I think that I mean, attending this info session is a great way to learn more about the program and is this going to be a good fit for me? I think we'll start to answer some questions about admissions and interviews later on, and we have some questions about this. But there's always a focus of like, how do I get into the program? Like, how do I make myself a good fit? But I think that you also want to be thinking, is this program a good fit for me? Am I the type of person who's going to get what I want to get out of this program? And that's, I think, a big thing for people to think about when you're looking at these types of programs that do have great advantages, but you also want to be able to make the most of the program that you're in.
Amazing.
Yeah, to that
I think that's a great point.
I also want to add that, like Allison was mentioning, it's a very fast-paced program, and you just don't have, especially if you're coming, because I came straight from high school. So if you don't have a previous like experience of university, I thought this was normal when I first came here, and then I talked to other computer science students, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because like we're just we had a little bit of like different and additional training from the Shopify side coming into university, especially given that my year was like online first year. I think there was a strong disconnect. So I noticed that all of my close friends, and this is both a pro and a con, because I love that we're such a tight knit community, but I do know that for a lot of us also, we've talked about how like really all our best friends are in dev degree and we don't know anyone outside of dev degree. So sort of in our second year, a lot of us made a conscious effort to join like sports and other things to like literally we were like, we need to know other people other than the 15 people that we see every single day of our lives. And again, like I love that our community is so tight knit, but if you're expecting like an experience where you'll have the opportunity to go like hang out with all these friends and do all of this, like there isn't a lot, you don't have a lot of spare time, especially if you don't come from a big coding background, because I didn't, and I noticed in the first year there was a lot of like context to pick up on.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it without sort of saying it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Which isn't for everyone. So, but you also said something else. I just want to call it. You didn't come from a huge coding background, so you don't already. Maybe if you're already an expert, this isn't the program for you either, right? Like if you maybe there's other ways to get into Shopify, but if you're already coming in at a very high craft level, maybe this isn't what you should be looking for. Let's move on. We got about 15 minutes left, 16 minutes left by my watch. So we're going to do some admissions questions. We're going to try to do these rapid fire if we can. So to the interns, since you got in, what are your suggestions for someone who has not applied yet?
So I'm assuming this question is like suggestions for the application process and like how to kind of get in. My biggest advice I always give is be yourself. Don't be somebody else. Be yourself. Be authentic. You're the one that's getting in the program. Do you want to get in with a fake personality and then you have to be fake for the next 4 years? No. Be yourself. Just be genuine. Like if you're interested in computer science, if you're a hard worker, if you're good at problem solving, you're good at critical thinking, you're good at time management, just show that. Just be authentic, be yourself in the application. Don't lie. Do not make stuff up. Just answer every question honestly. If you don't know something or like if one of the questions isn't relevant to you, just be honest about it and just be yourself. That's what we want.
Great answer. Yeah, you're gonna have a terrible time in 4 years if you're don't get to be your authentic self. Anyone else want to take a crack on that, or should we move on?
Someone asked me, actually, like a personal friend who was applying as well, and they were saying, "Oh, I have like 20 stories, like I don't know it." And I was like, "Don't write so much that whoever opens it is terrified and like doesn't want to read it." But when if you're picking like a story you want to share in a life story interview or for your personal statement, my best advice is pick the one that resonates the most for you. Like when you think about that story, you think about, oh wow, like that changed or I developed in some way. So that when you have a conversation about it, it's genuine, like, and this is something that I'm actually sharing about myself, that lets you know more about my character, not just like what reads best on paper. Because I think that says a lot more about the person, and that's kind of what they're looking for. Because the whole thing is an investment about you, not necessarily the skills you have today, but what you'll have in the future.
Amazing. Thank you, Sophia. Tristan, we'll keep going. Rapid fire.
I'm ready.
Do you need to be accepted by the partner university to apply and accepted into the Dev Degree program?
Good question. And slight distinction. You do need to be accepted by the partner university to be accepted into the Dev Degree program. So if you're made an offer by Shopify, that's conditional that you are accepted into one of the partner universities. However, the order that you make your application is up to you. So the Dev Degree application closes on February 9th. Depending on your personal circumstance and the partner university, their deadlines vary widely based on different criteria. So as long as you're managing those timelines, it doesn't matter to us when you apply to the university, so long as you don't miss the deadline. Other than that, you just have to be accepted in the end.
Awesome. And I'll stick with you, Tristan. And remember that number he said there, February 9th. That's when the deadline's end. Would the technical interview be similar to the computational thinking questions that they solved? What if they couldn't solve the problems on the spot? Would that hurt their chances of getting accepted?
Ooh, cool question. Okay, so the technical interview question will be sort of in the same spirit as the computational questions, but it plays out a little differently. So the question, it's a systems design question, is the style of question that you'll be asked. So unlike the computational questions, there's not a specific answer that you will be working towards. So it's a complicated problem-solving question. My example that I use is, let's say you were designing a software like Shopify and you needed to serve merchants who are in many different areas with different needs. You have limited resources, X amount of resources. How do you distribute those resources? That will be the type of question that will be asked. So you'll be working with the interviewers in order to come up with a solution. To answer the second part, if you weren't able to answer the computational questions on the spot, that's okay. Those questions are designed to be that way so that they take a little bit of extra time to understand. The technical interview question is designed so that you can work through the solution within the given amount of time.
Awesome.
That would be my answer to that.
Perfect. I got another question for you here, Tristan. I think we kind of already answered this, but does the admission depend on the university or school or both parties?
For both parties. So you have to be accepted into both, but it can be any of the university partners.
Nice. Another one for you, Tristan. I'm going to keep you going here.
Okay.
These are pretty admission related, so you are the admissions guy. So I understand this year's application is on a rolling basis. Does that mean that people that get submitted their essays earlier and perhaps made it through to the interview stages will be notified before, possibly, the deadline, or do we have to wait until after the deadline before we can start expecting to hear back from the team?
Okay. If I get off track with this, let me know. I'll try and make sure I keep it all in my head. So the applications I saw some questions about this in the chat. The applications are being screened on a rolling basis. So we're doing our best to work through them as we receive them. For the computational questions, this can be relatively quick for us. For the personal statements, those tend to take a longer period of time. We do a blind review. A member of the team reads through all of your answers. And in some cases, 2 members of the team read through them. So those take a little bit of extra time to work through. The personal, I'm going to answer some additional questions that I saw, Mike.
Okay.
You should hear from us about the personal statements. I'm going to say by the end of January, if you haven't heard back from us already, we'll start to make, to send people their feedback. For the interview process, for both the life story and the technical interviews and the offers, those will start to move at the same time. So the interviews and the offers are not done on a rolling basis. So when you're thinking about a final decision, that will be around the end of April, early May, and everyone will receive a decision around the same time.
Awesome. There you go.
That's that.
Okay, next question. It's technically rapid fire. So what does Shopify or its recruiters look to hear from us in the life story interview? Do you want us to give nuanced details of our story? How would they achieve that? I guess basically, how do you write the life story?
And you do the life story. Great question. So the life story, what we're looking for through the details of your life is the experiences that you've had, how you have worked through those experiences, and how those are shaping where you're looking to go. So that's what we're looking to do. It's not going to be up to you to like tell a long story. It's designed as a conversation. So whether it's myself or another recruiter at Shopify, you will be going back and forth. And if you are starting to go off in a direction that they're not expecting or a little bit off track of what we're looking for in the interview, they will guide you back onto the path of the life story. It's a good idea to reflect on the things that have brought you to where you are today. You can find some of the stuff that we're looking for on the Shopify's website for the life story, but that's how we kind of go through the life story. This is not a good rapid fire question.
No, not really. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Thank you for answering it.
Yeah, so that's that.
Okay. Perfect. We got about 8 minutes left. It's still some more questions to get in. Specifically, there's some about the York Integrated program. So, Allison, I gave you a bit of a break. I'd like to come back to you. Is it still possible to do the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science at York?
Our plan is to actually pivot to the Bachelor of Applied Science in Computer Science. We've been working really closely with York as they're figuring out all of these processes. If you've already applied to the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science because you didn't know about this program, they're going to be able to pivot your application to this new program. So stay in touch with York. The biggest issue about this switch on the York side is that international students are not able to attend the Bachelor of Applied Science in Digital Technologies because there's more work hours than are in the student visa, which is currently 20 hours. But international students are still able to attend Carleton University, where it fits within the 20 hours.
Amazing.
I'm just going to jump in here while we're talking about international students and highlight that if you are an international student, not in the US and not in Canada, Carleton University is the partner university that you have to apply to, because there's also restrictions with Dominican University due to the US immigration laws.
Okay. Tristan, if I may, since we're talking about international students, could I ask another international student question?
Yeah.
So as a newcomer, permanent resident to Canada who has foreign credentials, is there a chance I can get into the Dev degree program?
That's a great question. I don't know the specifics. What I will say is that if you are legally eligible to work in Canada, then you should be able to, but that's probably a question for the info@devdegree.ca inbox, because there's probably more details in there.
Yeah, and definitely keep sending those questions into the info@devdegree.ca, because more eyes will get on them than this cohort that's here right now as we try to move through them. Moving back to the York Integrated Dev Degree program, it seems like the program has been changing and improving every year since it's been implemented. What is one of your favorite and most notable changes that happened in the past year? Oh, not including York University or Basic in Digital Technologies change, which is incredible. Their words, not mine. So
I'll just take a moment. And so I saw this one in the list, and this one is, at first I was like, holy cow, we've had so much change in Shopify, in the world, in everything, especially in the past year. But my favorite change is a Slack channel we created just this fall called Help Training Path. And what that is a Slack channel where all our training path students are in there. We've got upper years dev degree interns in there. We've got all sorts of folks in there who are just helping our training path students answer their questions. And that's my favorite thing. I'm going to ask the interns to see what their favorite change has been. But before I do, because we're still kind of talking about the integrated, it's not the integrated, that was its code name. I'm sorry, but we're still talking about the Bachelor of Applied Science in Digital Technologies. We have a link to an information session that York is hosting on, I'm looking at my calendar, on Thursday, January 26th, that is specifically going to be about Shopify and this new program at York. Shopify will be on the list of companies that are sent out to students who have applied to that program. And there it is. Tristan's posted it right now in the chat. Please feel free to register for that link. And so, hey, Dev Degree interns who are so kind to be here tonight, what's been your favorite change that has happened in the past year?
Just talking about the help training path, I'm surprised that it didn't exist before because it is so helpful. Every time I'm stuck, not every time, but like 90% of the times I'm stuck on something, most probably some other student has already asked that question. So having that engaging discussion, not only with the instructors, but like the previous Dev Degree students who are already in that group helping us because they've been through the same path. They have a different perspective on issues, and that's super helpful.
I'm going to cheat a bit, and I'm just going to say my favorite thing that's changed is the fact that things change rather than a specific thing. I'm always blown away that every year the training path, they take our feedback and improve it like right away. It's like you expect it to kind of be one of those things that gets stale or whatever as time goes on, but every year they collect feedback and then like the next year it's better and the next year it's better. And they always keep up, even though like I'm not in the training path anymore, it's always really cool to kind of hear how it's evolved and changed. And it just makes me feel good to know that my feedback mattered and that they actually listened and are trying to improve it for the next cohort. And I just think that's really cool.
Oh, I love that you said that. Yeah, we always want to iterate and improve and refactor and get better and make it the best experience for our participants. Anyone else want to jump in on this question?
I can go. I don't know if this counts as a change, but my favorite thing from the last year was that we got to like meet each other in person in like one big gathering. That was really exciting because I guess all of us started remotely because Leah and I were the first remote training path, I think. So we like had met each other. I think some like within your school you meet each other like in your area, but we had a big all Dev Degree get together in Toronto last year, and I thought that was really fun and exciting. So yeah.
Amazing. I agree. That was amazing. Okay, I'm gonna cut it off here because we're getting to time. I want to thank you all for contributing, like the panel for contributing, everyone on the call, but also everyone in the chat. Really appreciate you contributing and participating. That's it for me. I'm gonna hand it back to Tristan. And what do you have to say, Tristan?
Awesome. I just wanted to plug the info@devdegree.ca inbox again and say thank you to everybody. I know for a fact that we didn't get to everybody's questions tonight, both from the Google form as well as from the chat. So I'm just going to put info@devdegree.ca again into the chat. Again, this is the inbox that the team tends to, as well as myself. So if you do have specific questions, anything that didn't get answered here, feel free to send it to us. It might take us a couple of days to get back to you, but we do try and answer as many questions as we can. I guess that's everything. There's the York info session coming up as well. If you didn't grab that link, maybe I'll just post it here again for everybody from my page if you want to take a look at that. But otherwise, thank you, everybody. Thank you to our panelists, Mike and Allison, for joining us tonight, and everybody in the chat for coming out to learn more about Dev Degree. And we are all super excited to read your applications, so we're looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.